We got everything from woodcock hunting to a look forward in 2026 with a couple old colleagues of mine, one from Oklahoma and one all the way up in Maine. I'm KJ. You found the right place. We go all over this little blue orb, sharing stories and tactics about chasing wild game. Now, let's get on the hunt. Here we go. All right, welcome all you Gun Talk hunters. I'm your host, KJ, and this is a throwback because these two guests were my colleagues, and really they were my mentors when I came onto the scene. We've got Josh Ward from Oklahoma, and we've got Matt Rice all the way up in Maine. But this episode is brought to you by Remington Ammo, CZ USA, Range Ready Studios, and Ruger Arms. All right, let's jump into the conversation. Let's start up in Maine with Matt Rice. Matt, how you doing, dude?
Doing good, man. It's a chilly, cold, wonderful day in the snowy season of the Northeast, so you gotta love it, right?
Really, because really down here in Louisiana, I'm going to tell you right now, I think it's like 75 degrees outside, and it's so hot. Like, I really don't need this. So.
Yeah, I'll text you my true opinion on that in a few minutes. It's not worthy of the air, but yeah, no, the Northeasterners, they know how to deal with weather. So if you don't want winter, don't come Northeast. But if you love a great fall, absolutely beautiful.
Was it a pretty nice fall for you guys up there?
Oh man, it's just beautiful weather from about late May all the way through almost to Thanksgiving. It's just perfect. I mean, for a guy like me who loves the outdoors, family and I love to go take hikes, go camping. Like it's suited for that. So beautiful time. Foliage is the best place I've been to see the fall colors for sure.
But then you go into winter.
A long winter, a very long winter. So yeah, we got snow on the ground probably 2 or 3 weeks ago. We'll probably be staring at it until March, maybe late April. Just kind of depends on how things go. You never really know. There's not much of a spring. So from a guy, like you, used to those seasons down in Oklahoma, I love a good spring. Always think about turkey hunting, getting out there, doing some scouting, but this is just not the case. You just go right into a very short summer and then back again to that beautiful fall. So it's called the mud season up here. It's rain and mud.
Oh, really? That's crazy.
Yeah.
I bet it's got to be so hard to get used to. But let's talk about like kind of your hunting shift, because really, like, you're back in Oklahoma, you hunted Missouri, you've hunted really all over the world. But let's talk about your transition from really kind of being like that Midwest central, whitetail hunter, quail hunter. I mean, you've hunted upland birds like your entire life, but you've recently, like, that move to Maine area, like it had to have shifted like how you hunt. And let's talk about how you've adapted and what you've been doing up there.
I mean, not only how you hunt, but where you hunt. I was spoiled, growing up in Oklahoma, having family land, neighbors, friends. There was always somewhere to go, right? Somebody was always willing to show you the ropes when you were younger. And then when you got older, and you could go exploring out on your land. So, very fortunate, and can't wait to get back to do that again. So obviously when you shift anywhere, you're scouting, right, from day one. So, thankfully the digital world has come a big way. So Onyx, different maps like that allow you to kind of understand what's fair game. Everything changes up here in the Northeast, right? In Maine, no Sunday hunting. So that's a big change, right? So part of our weekend's always about, hey, I can't wait to get out, hunt Saturday, Sunday, back in working on Monday. So now you have to find not only the area you're going to go, but you have to maximize your time during the weekend. And then you just got to get used to the change, right? It's most of the area up here is heavily wooded. Finding some of those big acres and food plots and views they're you can find them, but a lot of times they're going to be on private land and somebody's going to be there. So it's a lot of scouting. It's a lot of looking and then hoping you'll see a deer. The buck reports and stuff. I got a little spoiled living in Kansas, watching everything go down. It's just not the same world with whitetail up here in the Northeast, that's for sure. Well, but they're out there. You just got to work a little bit harder for it, stay mobile, do a lot of scouting. Took advantage of those long walks with the kids, hitting some of those public areas and being like, hey, this would be good. And then logging waypoints and stuff along the way going, I'll come back here and check this out there in the fall.
Man, I just can't like it's the same down here in Louisiana. Like I mean, like you have to put in some foot miles in order to find the good areas or to find the areas that haven't been cut off from water down here. But up there, I mean, you're dealing with a whole different realm. But so let's talk a little bit about upland hunting because I think we talk about so much whitetails, and we'll get to that for sure with Josh Ward. But let's talk about like woodcock hunting and like your experience with that because I've never done it before. But from an upland guy that, was working behind dogs and everything, what is that like?
It was a great experience. It was an eye opening experience. I grew up bird hunting with my father. We always had bird dogs, so quail, dove, chasing pheasants in Kansas when we got to, and so to come up here and throw myself into something that I had never done before, just kind of reading it, it was starting all over. But it was extremely fun. It's a lot of miles. Very few birds you're going to see and get a shot at. So you got to be quick on the gun. And, we went out, the wife and I, we went did some practicing, some little ski shooting in the backyard just to kind of knock off the dust. What we needed to do was go walk in the thickest trees and the thickest brush and just practice getting your gun up in under 2 or 3 seconds because there are no clear lanes, there are no stands. I mean, it's literally standing on one foot trying to shoot with the other hand. It's just unbelievable the terrain and what you're walking through. But good bird dogs make all the difference in the world, right? You can obviously do that, grouse and woodcock without birds, but you are going to be really pushing your luck as far as finding them, staying on them, and then when they go down, we were out there late October, early November. It's still very thick cover, right? The
Yeah.
leaves are falling off the trees, so you have some shots at distance if you need to, but it's really just like, is that bird going to break into the opening? But when you found a bird and went down, I think maybe we retrieved one on our own that I was able to kind of walk to. Without
Right.
those dogs, you are really going to be up a not a good situation at all.
Up
So,
a creek
but
without
love
paddle.
hunting with dogs, right? That's why we do it. The
Yeah.
dogs are more than half the fun of going out there and doing any type of upland hunting.
So were you shooting your old Smith and Wesson Elite Gold?
No, I didn't, and I kind of got the guy that we were with. He kind of gave me a little bit of ribbon for what I was carrying, but I couldn't resist. I've got my dad's Browning A5 20 gauge. That thing's
Yeah.
been battle tested and worn. The stock's all nicked up, like it still runs like a champ. So anytime that I can go out there and hunt with a family heirloom or something that feels like it's closer to my dad, like I'm going to do it. Like
Yeah.
I'll eat the extra ounces. I was wishing by the end of the second day I had something a little bit lighter, maybe something a little bit more compact, maybe a 28 gauge or something, just to cut off some of that weight and shells alone. But
Yeah.
it's a gun that I've shot everything with when it comes to birds of the feathers. So I was like, this is one more notch for the old Brownie.
That's
A5.
awesome. I mean, you ought to start keeping a tally on it or somewhere, or at least
I
at
think
least like a book.
I think I think there already is. If you look at the stock, there's probably a mark from every thorn bush and thistle and everything I've came across. So I think I got a pretty good head count on how many places at least it's been.
That's awesome. So what are you doing now? So you've recently like transitioned to a different position, and now you're over with like which I think is a great organization, and they've really come a long ways. But talk a little bit about where you're at right now.
Yeah, no, I'd love to. Yeah, I just recently joined SLG2 Incorporated. So most people really probably understand it by Shoot Like a Girl, as well as our Safe Living contingency. I came on as their director of business development. So really looking at some of the services we provide our clients, how can we maximize some of the marketing effort behind them? And, the SLG brand is phenomenal. Karen and the team have worked extremely hard from about 2008 to get it to the point that they are today. This year for 2026, we've got over 20 different locations that we're going to be stopping, along with some military installations as part of the AFES, the Air Force, Army, and Exchange. So when we roll up, I mean, it is NASCAR's type feel. Big semi, iconic trailer.
Hmm.
We can pull the smaller safe living trailer, and then it is just a mobile product experience. So what we try to do is get out in front of the public or in places that we know they're going to be and have an interest in what we can bring, and provide them with what's kind of coming up on the horizon. It's a mobile shot show, right? We have some great brands like Glock, GSM that have been a part of this journey for a long time, and it provides the attendees a free experience where they're able to get hands-on with the product. They interact with over 45 different instructors that we have as part of our team that are all very experienced in different disciplines. And they provide just that basic knowledge, because as we all know, anytime you are shopping, anytime you are trying something, you have questions, right? And you want somebody who's going to be able to answer kind of honestly and directly, and not necessarily steer you in one way or the other. So that's what we pride. There are no favorites. We welcome any and all brands, and we want them to have that experience to get that real consumer moment when somebody's actually touching, holding your product. And then a bonus, if there's a storefront right there, they can go on in and make that purchase, or they can follow up later.
Well, and I think it's like, I think you're getting that real world experience, because the instructors that they have are phenomenal, like educators too. And so you have someone there that's knowledgeable, who's walked through your shoes, and it's a phenomenal organization, and I see them everywhere. So they're a good company to be a part of. I'm glad you landed there, man.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. It's been a great welcoming committee. Happy to be on board. Team's excited. We've got a lot of momentum going through here. So, some big events. As I mentioned, some new grand openings for Bass Pro and Cabela's that will be at the storefront. Going back to kind of like the Bristol Motor Speedway, be up there around some of the bike rallies. So some of these big events that sometimes our industry doesn't necessarily have a contingency or a part of, we can provide that experience in some of these locations. So that's part of my job: find that next place, find that next event, find that next sponsor, and really try to make this kind of a more world, or at least a U.S. wide known entity in which people can interact. So really exciting stuff. We'll be at SHOT Show, Industry Day at the Range. Glad to be back. So, it's a great opportunity to come by, see what we have. And if anybody's going to be around in Vegas the week after, come on by the Bass Pro Shop. Happy to have you come by the trailer and see it yourself.
Heck yeah. I'll be there. You'll see me. We're going to transition. We're going to go from Maine all the way down to Oklahoma right after this break. Tired of your range time being just mag dumps and Instagram flexing? Enter Range Ready Training, where Director of Awesomeness and everything else, Chris Serino, turns keyboard warriors into actual warriors. Or something like that. Pretty dang close, I would say. Yeah, the guy's been there, done that. Pistol, check. Rifle, check. Yeah, we got it all. Force on force, we do that every now and then too. Bring your bruises, instructor development. Welcome to the Thunderdome of learning. It's more than training, it's range ready, because real life doesn't come with a respawn button. You ever pick up a rifle and think, oh, this thing means business? That's the CZ 600 Plus. I've shot it, torn it down, put it back together. Honestly, it's as easy to break down as it is to shoot. And speaking of shooting, the accuracy on this thing makes you look like you planned it. We're talking a 60-degree bolt throw that cycles smoother than your buddy's pickup lines, a controlled feed action that refuses to hiccup, and a user-adjustable trigger you can tune without needing a toolbox. Want more? The interchangeable barrel system lets you swap calibers like you're changing hats. Same rifle, new mission. And that convertible magazine? Run it as a detachable mag or lock it and go old school internal. Your call. If you want a rifle that's modular, accurate, reliable, and stupid simple to break down, the CZ USA 600 Plus isn't just a standout. It's the one you'll compare everything else to. Go shoot it. You'll get it. Looking to level up your hunt and tighten up those groups? Well, look no further than Remington Ammo. Yeah, the stuff in the green box is super accurate, and they've got everything from hunting ammo all the way to NRL, like match ammo. So check those out. Remington Premier, from Premier Tip AccuTip to match grade ammunition, all in that green box you love, you trust, and you adore. Find it all at remington.com. Looking for a rifle that's short, sharp, and way more precise than you on your best day? Meet the Ruger American Gen 2 Scout, the Gun Talk Edition. This thing's compact powerhouse, dressed in Cryptek Obscura Nox camo with a smoked bronze Cerakote finish, like Tactical Fashion Week, but with more recoil. Chambered in 5.56 NATO or 308, it's got a threaded barrel, installed high comb, and the kind of accuracy that forgives your bad decisions. At least the ballistic ones. You can find it at guntalkscout.com. All right, we're back. All right, all you gun talk hunters, I know you're looking forward to this one because he's one of my favorite guests to have on the show, Mr. Josh Ward from Gunpowder Inc. lots of new products out there, and the new year's starting. Shot Show's coming up, and we're gluttons for punishment because we like new gear. Josh, welcome in, dude. You're my man when it comes to new gear.
Well, thank you. First of all, I need to say, looking at you two guys on the screen, number one, does my heart a lot of good. But it also makes me realize I need to finish decorating my office. This is pretty sad. I built this thing out like a year and a half ago, and I've been so busy. I have skulls and everything like stacked up, ready to go. And I just have not had the time to do it.
Dude,
So thank you for having such a nice backdrop, both of you. And I'm sorry for just the generic wall here, but
I did,
no,
I did, I did have to ask Matt when he jumped on the call. I was like, "What? Which deer is that in the background?" And he was like, "It's a moose." So,
okay.
my bad, Matt.
No, yeah. As far as new gear goes, yeah, I'm really excited about the upcoming year in new gear. Excited to see what's going to be displayed and debuted at SHOT Show. Honestly, don't know a lot of about many things that are coming, which is always exciting. We had some new caliber introductions last year. I am curious to see what other rifle manufacturers add some of those new chamberings to their lineup.
Yeah.
I try to keep an eye on social media in the fall and kind of see where some of our friends are going and who they might be hunting with. Sometimes it gives you a little bit of a feel, but I'll be honest, everybody's been playing pretty close to the vest.
And that's a good thing. But I do know, like let's take an optics company,
Mhm.
Zeiss. I feel like they're gonna grow this year. So let's look at an overall trends. Like, what do you find trending? What do you think the trend will be in 2026? Because I feel like 2024, 2025, lightweight gear, backcountry hunters was huge. Now we're still trimming that line out. We're still wanting to go lightweight. We're still wanting to be nimble on our feet in the backcountry. What do you think is the trend for 2026? Is it more tech in the way we develop gear? Is it more tech within the gear, like more connectivity? What are we going to see?
I think we have more competition now than we've ever had before in the marketplace, and that's really good for the consumer. I think you're going to see better products at more accessible price points. My guess is you're going to see a lot of brands that maybe have occupied a little bit higher shelf.
Hmm.
They're going to be trying to kind of widen that on ramp to their brand. That's my guess.
Yeah.
Uh, and as competition for consumers heats up, it's good for the consumer. You're going to get more bang for your buck, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But your money's going to go a lot farther. I think you're going to see better gear. And I'm always, I wish my dad were still around. I could show him, like, look at the great stuff we have. The three of us grew up in Oklahoma wearing clothes that mom said weren't nice enough for church and school anymore. I mean, it's a wonder we didn't die.
Yeah.
You think about the Sitka gear we roll out in, and that stuff is, I have a hard time keeping people awake when we're deer hunting because the stuff is so warm and comfortable.
Yeah.
The boots have gotten better. Optics have gotten better. Rifles have gotten better. The ammo performs better. I mean, everything is better. But I think we're going to see a more accessible on-ramp to a lot of these brands that in the past were maybe a little bit of a higher price point. That's my guess. But I will be, as I am every year, really excited to see what everybody has in their booth. And the best part about SHOT Show, it's like homecoming, right? It's like we all graduated from the same high school and we're all going back. I get to see you guys, get to give you a hug.
Yeah.
We get to talk in person, and we get to see all of our friends, current clients, old coworkers. It's going to be great.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to it, but like when you start talking about like brands like Sitka and I mean just a plethora of others, um, I think more technology is built into like the fabrics and the manufacturing process to
Mhm.
bring these more high end products to an affordable price. I think there's going to be a real big push for that, which means everybody's going to have to get competitive. They're going to have to jump in there and they're going to have to go look what these companies are doing. And for guys like me that are going to buy this gear, like it's important to keep that price range down. I think I saw a product last week, one of them that really impressed me. I can't talk about it yet, but it was $100, like, or no, $120, $120 for a quality piece of equipment, which should like be in the $250 to $300 range. Like it's starting to trim down that price, and like you said, I mean, add a great value to it.
Yeah, and then we also have a number of brands that are reshoring operations and manufacturing, and brands that never left, right?
Yeah.
Brands that never offshored any production. So you've got quality and tremendous value coming in pretty much every category.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just think about the great deer rifle you could buy for $400 now.
It's ridiculous. Yeah.
It is, and they shoot great. So your money goes a lot farther, and it leaves more money for us to buy tags.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or just buy points because you'll never draw out on that tag of a lifetime. Just saying. Thanks, Oklahoma. But Josh drew out on it. What took you 17 years?
No, it was 14 years. So you had to be 18.
Close.
Had to be 18 to draw that tag or apply for that tag. And so I started putting in when I was 18, drew when I was 32. I was the youngest guy by several decades. There's one guy that had put in every year, a couple of guys that had done their field artillery training at Fort Sill.
Yeah.
One guy started putting in 68, one guy started putting in 69. So I was way younger than most of those folks.
I am glad because on that hunt, what we're talking about is we're talking about a Wichita Mountain elk hunt in Oklahoma. That's a once in a lifetime draw. Usually, I think they say it's on average 17 years to put in, and then you've got a really good chance. I think I'm at year like 19 or something like that. But I'm glad we were young because Matt was on the trip and I was on the trip to help you haul that thing out, and that was no small feat.
It was a whole lot like work. And what happened, I wound up about, 9 or 10 miles as the crow flies from where I started that morning. And you had to be out by, I think it was 8 or 8:30 because it's a federal property. They said if you weren't back at the road, you're going to stay the night. Well, I had been on elk all day and had been on plenty of bulls and saw this big bowl I was trying to figure out how to get into. Late in the afternoon, figured out how to get up there. And I thought, this is where I want to start tomorrow. But it's about 6 miles from that road.
Yes, it was.
And I said, let me go about 50 yards up this hill, get a little bit better view. I can look over into the next valley. Walk 50 yards up the hill, 6x6, gets up out from under a cedar tree, walks out on the shelf, 200 yards. And as soon as he hits the ground, the sky darkens and big giant snowflakes and ice pellets start falling down. And I've got to get this thing field dressed and back to the road, and it's already 4:30. It was a bit of a rodeo, but I'm glad you guys were there the next day to help me get it off the mountain.
Well, like I look like how far we've come in gear. Like I had an external frame backpack from Big Game. Like it was like a cheap external frame pack that I had. I don't know what Matt was carrying, but I know it wasn't even like, it was probably just a backpack. He was probably just carrying it out on his shoulder. We'll get his story at the end of this. But like I see the gear that we have, and like we go to like companies like Kafaru that last week or 2 weeks ago or so during rifle season, I packed a whole like whitetail at 200, and I think he ended up he was dressed out at like 220 or something like that. But I hauled that thing out in one pack in an internal frame, and it was one of the coolest experiences, and it caused me to reflect on that gear that we had that day packing your elk out.
Oh, what I wouldn't have given for a Kafaru pack on that trip. I had a external frame Mad Dog. And I don't know what the tensile strength on it was. It did tear a little bit. That first pack load I took out was 111 pounds.
Oh my God.
That was, it was a lot. But those Kafaru packs, I've never carried a more comfortable pack under a heavy load than those things. It would have been worth the investment to have.
Well, that's why I've kind of taken myself, and I always debate on whether or not I need a UTV, and I need a UTV. But like Kafaru has saved me thousands of dollars thousands of dollars, because every time I go back and I shoot one way back in the back corner, you've shot them back there where I'm talking about.
Mhm.
Like, I think, man, it'd be great to have a UTV. And then I'm like, well, I'll just throw it all in my backpack, walk out, and it's, I'm what, a mile and a half out from the truck, and then it's easy. So
And
it's nice to have this.
you don't have to worry about mesquite thorns in the sidewall of your ATV tires either.
Yeah, that's true. Just a thorn in the side of my shoe,
Yeah.
which did happen this year. It was really odd. Like, I was like, oh, I'm glad that wasn't a tire. It was just in the bottom of my foot for the rest of the walk out. Okay. Hey, here's what we're gonna do. Okay, I want to give you guys a little bit of background before I bring both of them back in. I guess we can turn Matt's microphone back on and let him chime in here a little bit. These two guys I worked with at Blue Heron Communications, and these guys are mentors of mine, and they've always been mentors of mine. These are the guys that I look up toward to, on how I carry myself personally and professionally. I can't think of two better guys in this shooting and outdoor industry, that are leading the way for companies. So that's just my personal feelings on how I view these two. So when you're listening to this, what I want you to take away from this is whatever these guys say, can be taken to heart. So anyway, Matt, do you have anything to say regarding anything we said?
Well, first, I'm glad you got the check and it cleared because I was a little worried about that. So Josh and I threw in what we could, so we appreciate that. Call it a Christmas bonus, call it whatever you want.
Thank you.
No, KJ, we appreciate it, man. We've all three known each other for a long time. We've seen this industry grow tremendously, and where we all started out, working in PR, comms, and marketing. Those ways and the things that we've learned, several of them apply today, but a lot of them have since gone the way of the dodo, right?
Yep.
So being able to adapt, stay versatile, learn what the industry is, and then learn from each other, right?
Yep.
The people that you associate with are oftentimes some of your best learners. But, commenting on anything, that elk hunt, I think Josh owes me a check because I was suffering for some back issues, I think certainly not too long after that expedition. And if I recall, I don't remember the name of it, but mine was an external frame pack. I think it was something my dad might have hiked film on in. And it was not cut out for packing out elk meat in any condition whatsoever. But hey, we got the job done. So it was a great trip, great memory. It's glad Josh got his tag punch, but I agree. There was a little bit of twinge of jealousy when you put in, and then here he is going, "Hey guys, did you get drawn?" Because I think back then we were all putting in at the exact same things, and anytime you could put multiple parties, we were all in. So. But yeah, no, it was an awesome place to hunt for sure. Even just to go see Wichita Mountains.
It really is. And every once in a while, Josh sends me pictures of the whitetails running around there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's another good place to hunt.
But yeah, I mean, you talk about gear coming out. I think optics are going to continue to lead the way. Josh and I were actually chatting next week. Image stabilization has gone leaps and bounds, and you're seeing a lot of companies catch up to that. So I think that's something consumers can expect. One of the big things I'm excited for, just suppressors and SBRs, right? That faucet's going to get turned on come January 1. To Josh's point, it's going to see some market stabilization. Prices are going to be a little bit, come down, I would expect. So, you're not just your rim fires, you hopefully will be able to get for $200 to $400. I think you'll be able to get some high-end, high-flow suppressors. So I'm anxious to see what the industry does there. I think there's going to be a lot of companies that are going to come out and try their hand at one of those categories, or maybe both. Maybe the old days of the double tax stamp, the twofer, now they're kind of essentially gone in a way, right? As far as payment, you still got to register them and do the footwork, but could be some really exciting products to take advantage of both those categories this year.
I was in a shop the other day. It's Todd Benura. He's going to be on here pretty soon, but he pulls out the can, and I bet he does this to everyone that walks in there. And I've walked away going, did I just get duped? Anyway, I bought a can on a whim because he was like, hey, have you checked this thing out? And it's the exact can that I've been looking for, but haven't been able to find it. It's a Zenith can. And he shows to me, it's the can that has a little bit of like a break on the end of it for my NRL competitions. And so I was like, man, I love that. And he goes, well, I just got this one in. and it's the only one I've got. And I go, I'll take it. I think he does that with everybody that comes in. I'm just
Only
thinking
got
about,
one if you want it now.
but yeah,
It's,
I'm thinking about it, and
it's
I think you're right. Suppressors are going to be the deal.
yeah, that's going to be a space to watch for sure. And then we'll see how long it takes to get those removed off the NFA altogether, and then it's going to be even a bigger market. So that's going to be an exciting category to watch for sure.
Yeah, and I mean, it's one of those lightweight cans that I was like, I've been looking. This is exactly what I need, and I did not need it, but I wanted it. And
That's a
sometimes
need.
that trumps need.
Yeah, once a need. Hey, it's Christmas season, right? So you gotta give yourself something a little
Treat
bit every once in a
yourself.
while. Treat yourself. Yeah.
Don't. I hope my wife's not watching this. Because he
She's
was
got
like,
better
I was
things to
like, do
do.
you take Venmo? That's like fake money anyway. Like it's not real. I was like, I got plenty of that Venmo account because I'm beating everybody in fantasy football.
Oh, I think that was a little slide in my direction. Yeah. Nice, nicely played there. Nicely played.
uh, Josh, you got anything to comment?
Well, I'm of the belief that if you save as much as you spend, then it's essentially free. So if you got a good enough deal on it.
I like.
And I also think that after the holidays, you owe it to yourself, to your future self, to go out and take advantage of every good deal, every sale that's going on. That's the best part about after Christmas. It's everything that you wanted that you didn't get. It goes on sale. And if you got some gift cards, throw it against there. You got to take care of yourself.
I know, man. I'm looking at everything that I have to buy, or I have to. I want to buy. I don't think I'm in the right business. I think I
Oh,
need
come on.
like
You guys got new
investment
products.
banker, doctor, but
You got new products flowing through that at studio all the time. What do you mean you're not in the right
we send
position?
them
You get
back.
to test everything beforehand. You
Hey,
get to see what works, what doesn't. Then you can make your purchase. And I know you, KJ, you're probably not paying full retail for everything.
no,
So
no,
keep
and
that
that's the
good
beauty.
work up.
But it is not like back in the day, like when we were rolling through like Blue Heron, and that's I mean for far enough back to where it was like companies were like, hey, try this product out, send it out, tell us what you think. Do you have a shipping? And we'd always ask them like, do you have a shipping label you want us to get back to? Don't worry about it. Like those days are kind of gone. I don't know what you guys are seeing, but those guys are kind of gone.
I think it depends on the brand, right?
At least for the firearms.
Firearms especially. This is a different beast. But other
Yeah.
categories, I think a lot of that old style of just product seeding, get it out to the masses. It's the margins are high on some of these products. Some of them they're not.
Yeah.
So you have to look at it from kind of their marketing bankroll and what they've got to do. But I don't think it's over. I don't think it'll ever be over. I think that's one thing that makes our industry so unique is you actually need to test the product in some capacity, right? You need some sort of educational component to really feel confident in that purchase, whether that comes from peers, buddies, social, store visits, experiences that you get to go on. But I think our industry is pretty unique in that we've all seen it since day one. I think we were all blown away by it, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think we're going to see those RSR carts at SHOT Show go away anytime soon. So I'll take the overs on that one.
Yeah, there's only so much you can learn from a PowerPoint deck or something like that. At some point in time, you have to put it to use and figure out how it's going to dovetail into your setup or how it can be applicable to not just the core market that they're going after. So many times, there's so many sales to be realized by going into adjacent categories as well. So you can't figure that out from a PowerPoint deck, or a sales sheet or whatever. So you really do have to put it through its paces.
Yeah, so you typically like firearms and some other gear. It's like a 90-day period on which you get to use it, and then they'll request it back typically, or we try to get it back to them in a timely manner. But what I'm seeing is I want a lot of time with that product. If I can get 6 months with a product, that's the best use for me. And I find out that I can speak intelligently about it and its use in that amount of time. Like the industry day at the range, it's really hard to determine what you like. Now I will say, like, let's say like shoot like a girl, like going to one of their events and getting in there, when you're talking about like a pistol, honestly, like that's one of the few products that you can pick up and go, this is gonna feel good. Would you not agree, Matt? Because you're a pistol shooter, man.
Yeah, no, pistol's a different breed, right? But to your point, the way it fits, the ergonomics, the control, the size of it, there's a lot of similarities across the board. Yes, some manufacturers have gone above and beyond with tinkering with certain things or having different modularity, but at the end of the day, it is really how it fits in your hand, how easy you can access the controls, how well you can manipulate the slide, the safety, see the sights. So if you get that from just a quick experience, as long as you're not choosing a caliber that you just are maybe underpowered for or not expecting or just haven't used it before, you're going to be in good hands, right? So
Yeah.
I do think you can do a lot with that and just that taste and feel. Rifles and long guns, a little bit different, right? Because just the feel and the fitting of you needs to be sure, and then they offer a lot of nuances because you're adding stuff onto them, right? You're constantly manipulating and making them different. So, but yeah, on handguns, I would say so. You can get a pretty good, quick opinion on what feels right for you, but I would still encourage you to find somewhere that has a range, that has an open demo, somewhere you can test fire a friend, somewhere that that you have a range program that you can actually put a couple rounds to it before you decide this is the one you want.
Yep. Agreed, man. Well, Josh, anything else?
No, I'm just tickled to death to be on a show with the two of you guys. This is like the best part of my week.
I know, man. So last week I went in and I was like, "Hey, Benjamin, I got an idea." I was like, "I'm gonna get the old gang back together," and he goes, "I love it." He was like, "Just do it." And I was like, trying to like all my call sheets and my call notes and my emails that went out to you guys, like I blind copied you guys on it because I didn't want you to know like ahead of time because I didn't know if you'd show up.
No, hey man, this just got me excited. Like we need to plan a trip. We need a reunion of sorts that's not on a trade show floor or over a Skype call. This is great. It's always great to talk to you guys and catch up, but we need to put together something that as we're all getting a little bit more seasoned and at least a few of us have some hair still. We need to go out and do something with it.
Hey, I've got some. It's gray, but it's some.
My beard's gray now, but my hair is still dark. So
yeah, I don't know. Maybe North or South Dakota.
Always got room in my heart with you dudes. From anywhere from Oklahoma straight to the Canada border, we're good.
Oh, that's a whole nother podcast right there. Yeah. Just that trip alone.
The true definition of a road trip that was. Wow.
Yeah. We got to see Rushmore.
We did see Rushmore.
And some goats. Yeah, some goats. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We got to see the Sand Hills.
Some horse track racing.
Oh, it was fun. It was a good trip.
Oh, we're gonna have to get you guys on, and we're gonna have to get Puckett back on. We'll have to get him on again, and we'll have a whole series of just telling old stories.
Oh boy!
All right, now hey, you know the drill. Keep those muzzles pointed in a safe direction, and always be on the hunt.